Hey everyone, this is Dougie Fresh, and I just wanted to jump into your feeds real quick and let you know that due to Professor Chris G being under the weather, we are making a slight adjustment in our release schedule. We will be taking a pause in our coverage of the Pokemon Concierge Netflix series, and in its place, you will be getting our coverage of the banned Kanto episode, A Mandarin Island's Mismatch. So we want to give Professor Chris G as much time as he needs to recover because it's kind of hard to do a podcast without a voice. So, once again, Pokemon Concierge will return next week with our coverage rather of episodes 2 and 3. So we hope you enjoy the band episode, and we hope to see everyone next week.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am your host, Professor Chris G, or one of your hosts. And on the other line with me, bringing in the new year with me, is my good old compadre, my brother in arms. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's been a little chilly the past couple days. Um,
It snowed yesterday.
it did. I mean, barely. It wasn't even hardly a dusting.
Oh, for you, for me, it was because I was driving in the dead heat of it over to work, and freaking got to work, and by like 5 minutes of me being in work, my car was covered.
Well, would you rather have been driving in it or slubbing up and down the friggin' neighborhoods in it?
Driving.
Well, that's what I thought.
Well, that's your prerogative. You can walk around your house. You don't need to go outside.
Well, no, but I'm saying what you used to do.
True, true. I used to have to work out in the elements in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. but yeah. Happy New Year, bro.
Oh, yeah, it is going out. Yeah.
Happy New Year, and hopefully it'll be a great year. Hopefully we'll have another great year in video games because freaking 2023 was fantastic. Thanks to the pandemic, pushed everything off, and like all the big hits came out this year, bro.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think we have to, you know, kind of say our condolences to the fine people over at Insomniac because as we're recording this today, the big leak that they were being held up for the money for, they actually followed through and they dropped apparently about 98% of what they had.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I I came across some of this. I saw a lot of Wolverine that I didn't think that I was supposed to see.
Apparently, and I mean, we don't condone this, obviously. Let it, get back to the wrong people. We don't condone this. And the majority of stuff I saw, like I just saw like a kind of a release timeline. I didn't look at any of the files. I didn't um but apparently people got a version of Wolverine running on certain PCs.
Really?
Like there's apparently a playable version floating around there.
Oh, okay.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop what?
Don't be part of the solution, not the problem.
I You have no idea what I'm doing right now on my computer.
Yeah, bullshit. I heard that inflection in your voice.
You don't know what I am doing right. Oh, there is.
Yeah, be part of the solution, not the problem.
I am going to report this right now. Report. No, not
Stop
download,
it.
report. I don't want it on my computer.
Well,
Oh.
you know what? You know what? I hope all the Insomniac games that you buy from now on are corrupted. I hope, you know,
I'm just joking around, people. This is how we have fun. I know I am not looking up the Wolverine game, but I am interested because I had no idea that people were actually getting playable versions running right now, which is pretty amazing. So they actually dropped the game itself.
well, I can't vouch for the validity of those statements because, like I say, I didn't go digging too far. I will hold my hand up and say I was curious to see like what their plans are, and apparently you can kind of see like a roadmap of potential releases all the way. I think I saw up until 2030. Um, two of the games we knew about, obviously Wolverine and um maybe something else that maybe we didn't know about. So I'm not going to go into it too much further. I'll tell you off air if you're curious, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna fucking.
Well, let's just be real. I mean, and obviously, you're hearing this in the new year. We're recording this on December 19th, so you've had a couple weeks to kind of hear about this yourselves. Um, let's be real. What would have stopped the hackers if they got the $2 million that they were asking for and trying to hold it up in Insomniac for, from just taking the money and then still dropping the stuff?
I mean, unfortunately, you're not wrong, but I think there has to be like, what's that phrase? Honor among thieves or whatever. I mean, like, okay, you gave us what we were asking for. We'll give you your stuff back. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, the biggest example of a leak I could think of is when North Korea essentially hacked Sony because they released the interview.
Yeah, yeah,
But like
you're not
I don't
wrong.
remember North Korea asking for money. I think they were just pissed and they were like, "Watch us get into your shit."
Oh, so they have a new Spider-Man that was a part of this as well. Ooh,
Well, again, I wasn't trying to go into it because I didn't know how much people had seen, and I mean, I wasn't afraid to talk about Wolverine because that's been announced.
and Venom and X-Men. All right, good
Yeah, but
stuff.
the X-Men, I think that was 2030. I mean, with as much of Wolverine that got out, people are saying they might have to push and they might have to um maybe not necessarily start from scratch, but they might have to reevaluate some things.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk about this with you off air because I'm kind of intrigued as to what you know. Because the only thing I saw was I got a headline off of X, and it said
Call it Twitter. Don't be that guy. Call it Twitter.
Twitter, and it said Insomniac hackers follow through on their promise to leak after not getting the $2 million that they were asking for. So I just clicked on it and I saw like a picture of Wolverine like sitting at a bar with his back to the camera, and I didn't really go too much further into it until right now. And
Well,
I'm so
that image that you saw, that was part of the reveal trailer that they showed when they announced it a couple years ago with Spider-Man 2.
yeah.
So,
I want to
yeah,
know
I mean people are
I want to know how they got breached is what I want to know.
Well, yeah. I mean, and apparently, um, from watching a few like YouTube related things like about the leak itself, apparently it only took hackers or however you want to term them like half an hour to get into all the systems.
Yeah, this report right here says that they dropped more than a terabyte of Insomniac Games' internal data. Wow.
So, I mean, that's
Man, what would have $2 million have been to kind of stop this from even happening? Just give them the motherfucking money. So,
no, that's bullshit because then you're rewarding bad behavior.
I mean, now they're about to lose out on hundreds of millions of dollars and all the
Well,
time that the people spent on making those games. And if they have to now pull that game, that's a lot of money.
well, yes, but it also sets a really bad precedent.
Where did they drop the information? Is where I want to. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up
I would
off air.
I would say if I had to put a pin anywhere, I would say Reddit and Discord
Gotcha.
would be your chief dropping areas,
And people just snatched it right up.
and certain people don't have scruples and they say, "Oh, let me get this information and then let me not only get this information but let me share it because I want to be a prick." And I was like I say, I watched a handful of videos and everybody was like, "If you don't want to be spoiled, you might as well just mute Marvel in general on all social media because anything to do with the leaks is going to have Marvel somewhere in the keywords."
Damn, they really fucked them. So,
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like I said, um, it's weird because the going reports had been that they were looking to drop Wolverine sometime in late 24, but yet if you look at the timeline of future titles, all I kept seeing in terms of Wolverine was 2025. So I don't know. And I mean, who the fuck knows anything now?
thank God this was not no GTA. People would be losing their mind right now.
Well, that shit already. That's why we're still waiting on it now because it did get leaked.
Well, pictures of it got leaked, not the actual game. Not this shit. Like someone went online and was like uploading pictures of the map online and that got shut down real quick. So,
Well, but think about it. I mean, if a couple pictures of a map or I mean, I'm not trying to trivialize it, but if that got it released until or delayed until now, what's it going to do if
well
as
that
much of Wolverine is out there? Like, you know what
well
I'm
that's
saying?
not the reason it got delayed. It's been delayed because I mean they wanted to make the game basically perfect.
Well, no game's fucking perfect.
Well, apparently this one's marketing up to be one of the hottest games ever released ever once it does get released. So,
Yeah, and so was Cyberpunk, and we saw how that happened at release.
yeah, but that's not Rockstar.
Yeah, well, see, but that's the thing. It doesn't matter how these games come out because you can just push fucking a game's worth of a patch with it, and it's fine.
Yeah. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. But how about we wait for a pokey break to talk about a little bit more of this? We do have an episode to get into, and today we're doing, unbeknownst to us until last minute, this is a banned episode.
Yeah, we literally didn't figure that out until
A couple hours
3:30, 4 o'clock.
we're recording this at 7 o'clock at night, and we literally found out that this was banned like 4 hours ago. And
Yeah.
I didn't find out until you told me this episode's banned, and I was like, crap. I was like, that means we gotta find a source, and you guys have listened to other banned episodes that we've done. These episodes are fun. I mean, they're good
Well,
episodes, but it's a pain in the ass finding one that has subtitles to kind of go along with. Which, by the way, we're gonna preamble this by saying we are going to free ball this episode. Doug's words,
In
not
spite
mine.
in spite of your better judgment,
And
because I personally trust our ability to just kind of chat our way through an episode and not have to be reliant on the dialogue. I think we could just have a discussion about this episode. It's a very straightforward episode if you get down to brass tacks.
yeah, you're not wrong. So,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited to be on here. In terms of record time, we're right around the corner from Christmas.
yes, we are. It's literally less than a week.
I mean, you got some shit going on. That's your business. Um,
Yup. And which is probably going to push our recording schedule just a little bit, which is why I'm glad I didn't release certain episodes right away. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work, and we are going to have the best of both worlds. So,
well,
yay.
you know what I told you last week.
What'd you tell
I can't tell you because that would reveal what's going on,
me?
and that's not my story to tell.
Mm. Sorry if you guys heard me drink. I have really bad heartburn right now, and I'm just downing tons and tons of water to try to, like,
Yes, because you think your system is still 16 years old.
you know what, MFR? Shut up. Shut your face. So,
My face is fine because I can handle my shit.
you know what? Shut up. Shut up. All right.
Okay.
So, today's episode that we're going over, we're back in the Orange Islands, everybody. We heard you, and we're back because we know you guys want us to finish the original arc, so we're going to. And something that me and Doug have kind of agreed on in the background that we have not told you, the fans. Yes, we are going to complete these, but we're going to do like a month of Orange Islands, and then we're going to jump back and do a month of Master Journeys or the Journey series, and we're going to bounce back and forth, but we're not going to do it every other week like we did before because that got kind of messy. So you're going to get 4 episodes of one, 4 episodes of another with a pokey break in the middle. So that is how
Right.
we are going to do it, and it's a lot cleaner and it's easier for you guys to find these episodes in our archives, even though we number the episodes. So if you and we go by the Wikipedia numbering for each episode, like the true numbering. So
Yes.
if you ever wonder if we've done a specific episode and you want to know if we have, just go on either wiki or just look it up or just look up the title. I've done a very good job with starting from the very first episode all the way up to this episode that we're doing right now. I've titled it both the Japanese and the English title with the number in the title. So if you know the number, just type in that number under our podcast and you'll be able to find it. Right?
Right. Right.
So,
And I mean, let's be real, folks. You understand what the name of the show is. You know we're going to cover everything eventually. Um, this is just something that we sat down and we put our heads together and we're like, how do we make this work from a production standpoint? How do we make it work in terms of a release standpoint? That I think kind of like you mentioned is where I think the Poke Breaks are going to come in super clutch
yep.
because they're a natural break point, and that allows you to play catch up if you need to, and not worry about losing too much of a certain arc over another. I mean, I think going into 2024, I think that's going to make the show run even smoother.
Yes. And I do want to preference this, and I appreciate that you guys have not hit me up like you guys have in the past. But if you see that there's not an episode uploaded just that one week, or there's a week or two that the podcast, unless we put out a disclosure saying that we're stopping the show for whatever reason, we're gonna be back. It's just life happens to everybody, and I'm sorry, but life comes first, and then the podcast comes second. So you guys will end up getting your fix, and I normally end up uploading those episodes eventually, even if we take a week off. So just keep that in your back mind.
And, you know, a little peek behind how things run, in EPHQ. More often than not, even if nothing goes out on the feed, stuff is being worked on in the background.
Yes. Like, I'll just preface this right now. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like it because you're listening to this in the new year, but I didn't drop an episode last week, but it's a little normally because we're giving you guys a little bit more of an experience now with our episodes. So not only are we doing the episodes, but I can't just upload it like I used to, just plug the music in the beginning, music in the end, because I'm now plugging in bits and pieces of the Pokemon episodes into the podcast to have you guys enjoy the episodes even more. So that does take time, and sometimes if I don't have the time to really plug that in right away, because there's only two of us. I mean, we do not have a third middle guy that edits and puts everything together. It's just the two of us, and when we get busy, we get busy. Right, bro?
Life be lifing.
For real. So, but today's episode is episode 101. I guess we decided to stop at episode 100, which was a good stopping point. But
I want to say we did that on purpose, but I feel like it just happened that way.
I think so too. But it's called the Mandarin Island Mismatch, or translated from Japanese, Elite Four Canna Ice Battle. And this episode dropped in Japan June 3rd, 1999, and here in the States dropped April 15th of 2000. So, yeah, I guess are you ready to kind of jump on into this episode, bro?
I am ready, but I just want to because I'm sure we brought it up. And if we didn't bring it up, I'm bringing it up now. I'm frustrated because this episode is out there dubbed, right?
Yes, it is.
Like we watched the episode
In English.
in English.
Yes.
And I don't understand, the ins and outs, but I just don't understand how hard it would be to slap subtitles somewhere. If you want to ban it, but it aired.
It
And
aired,
apparent
and the only reason it's banned is for a freaking 2 minute part with Jinx in there that has
at
a
the very end of the episode.
yes, Jinx who does like two attacks this whole episode, and they banned it because it's the black faced Jinx and not the purple faced Jinx.
So
Jeez.
either go back and fix those last 2 minutes, because um, and this is Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. Apparently, everybody and their mother was fine with this episode until 10 years ago.
Yes. Yep.
And somebody was sitting there and they looked at this episode and said, hold on, Jinx is black.
Jinx is not black. Yes, she is. Or the original Jinx is black, and I have
Yeah,
and and that's the Jinx that I grew up with,
yeah.
and I didn't have a problem with Jinx, and I'm black.
Well, kind of.
Shut up. I'm gonna slap you. But But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into this episode.
You
And
slap me, you don't get into your Christmas present.
you don't get yours either.
Yeah, well,
So you be a good boy over
it's
there.
you.
Cause trust me, you're gonna want yours.
Oh, I think you're gonna be excited as well.
Oh, I'm sure I am. But let's not front right now, Doug. Let's get on into this episode before we're sitting here talking about Christmas presents again.
Okay.
All right. So let me go ahead and blow this up on my screen. And we start this episode off with Ash going in and telling Bulbasaur leaf blade and or razor leaf, and he he literally does razor leaf on a butterfree, and the butterfree has some unique markings on its wings, so you could tell it's from the Orange Islands, and it goes down and it flutters to the ground, and Ash is celebrating. He's like, yeah, I win.
He's spiking the football like he just won the Elite Four again.
I know. And
Great job, Bulbasaur!
I can't believe how many battles Ash has had since we got here.
I can't believe he won them all. Nobody can beat me! On Mandarin Island, I'm the man!
And I will backtrack to say that right before the title sequence, we got like the classic Pokemon trope because Ash says something along the lines of "Nothing can stop me except one thing," and Misty's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "I'm hungry," and then we do the classic Pokemon "La,"
facts.
and then we do get the title sequence, and then we cut and we see that they're at a cafe, and they've got a couple of sandwiches, and Ash is wolfing. He's double fisting, and Pikachu and Bulbasaur have bowls of kibble, and they've got some fruity drinks, and Misty's feeding Togepi because he's just a baby, and um, Misty makes a crack about Ash, wolfing down his food, and he's like, "Well, I've got to hurry up because I don't know if I'm going to have to go kick some ass later." And
he
you get
he
a free ball episode. This is what happens. Um, and Misty's just like, "Oh, for goodness sakes!" And and Tracy comes over and he's like, "I think I figured out kind of what the big commotion is on this island." And he holds up he's got a flyer for a trainer is having an exhibition. She's gonna battle, and then she's gonna kind of have like a TED talk kind of scenario. And Ash is like, "Oh, really? Who is it?" And then I really should have looked. I should have the
prima
fucking
prima.
Bulbapedia. Prima. And um Ash goes, "Who in the world is Prima?" And we cut to Misty, and Misty's going full on like mega anime. And she's like, "Oh my god, it's," and then like she like swooning how Brock would swoon over a Nurse Joy. And so they're kind of sitting there, and they're like, we should go, and maybe I can get some pointers, figure out her technique. And Misty's just, I mean, she's just over the freaking moon. And wouldn't you know it, it's almost like we're in a sitcom or something, because who should walk up to the table, and who do you see freaking waist first? You don't even see her face right away.
You see her waist, but you
Like,
see her waist and her cleavage. Like they did not hold back on her cleavage like at all in this episode.
and I
Sorry.
mean, no, I was going on too long. You were right to cut me. Um, and they pan up, and poor Ash almost chokes on his bite of food because, and again, I'm saying this about a cartoon, but I'm just reporting the facts. they are presenting this Prima as a spoke show.
Yep.
I mean, she is, as the kids would say, stacked,
Gorgeous.
packed, and all that. And um, and Tracy, if he was holding that piece of paper any tighter, he'd have ripped it in half. Misty is blushing like crazy. Ash can't swallow,
And this is where
which
I kind of um I was a little confused that maybe this is her like secret identity, because you know who that is, right?
no.
Oh, that's L'Oreelli of the Elite Four, the Ice Queen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I kept seeing that name when I was doing a bit of research about this episode. I was like, "What the hell? It's Primo. Why is everybody talking about this Lorelai fella or this Lorelai chick or whatever?"
Yeah.
Well, that would explain the Japanese title because doesn't the Japanese title say something about an ice battle?
Yeah, Elite Four Canna Ice Battle.
And I was looking and I was like, "There's barely any ice." I mean, there's a reference at the end of the episode, but I'm like, "There's barely any ice in this episode." What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a part of the Elite Four, and maybe Prima is her show name or her lowdown name, and maybe well, maybe that's her famous name. I don't know, but that's what she's
Well,
going by in this episode.
like Roman Reigns isn't Roman Reigns. It's Joe Anoa'i.
Yeah.
CM Punk is Phil Brooks.
Yes.
So maybe
The
maybe
Rock is
Prima
Dwayne
is
Johnson.
right. Stone Cold Steve. Oh, never mind. That's a bad example. But yeah, I could see that. Prima being her stage name. I mean, the only thing that would lend a little bit of oomph to that theory would be if she says, "Oh, you can call me Laura Lee or whatever."
Yeah.
But maybe that's asking for too much.
Prima.
It, it, it really is you.
This is such an honor just to see you.
I'm Tracy. This is Misty.
I could really use some pointers on training my water-type Pokemon.
Maybe I could sketch you and your Pokemon.
You're my hero.
Huh?
Hello there, cutie. Nice to meet you.
And she just blows right by him. I mean, doesn't even say like, "Oh, it's nice to meet it's nice to meet fans." Sorry to barge in on your conversation.
I
Um,
don't think she was really blowing him off, more along the lines of she didn't want to draw attention to herself and have everyone start coming over to her.
well, okay, that's all well and good, but she split right in the middle of them to go up to Togepi. Like,
What a cutie.
which I mean, facts, but um, Togepi's sitting there looking like, "Are you my mama?" um,
Milk, 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 milk.
but yeah, basically, and it's at this point that we pan up and we see the viewpoint of Team Rocket's binoculars, and they're like, "Who's that woman that's apparently just interested in talking to Togepi?" And Jesse and James are having a bit of their lunch, and they look at their binoculars, and James kind of looks, and he's like,
I've
"I've seen
seen
that
that
woman."
lady. I've seen her somewhere before.
Did his voice sound off to you?
A little bit, yeah.
I was gonna say it could have just been my rip that I watched, but I
No,
was like, his voice.
his voice did something. It sounded like kind of coldish, like he was getting a cold or something. A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're like, "Well, you're already here. We'll just knock out this episode and we'll see how you're doing tomorrow." Um, and then we cut and we get a shot of Prima and she's looking over the bow of the ship, and
Tracy's like,
you
why
know,
aren't you listening to me?
and this is when before we hit record, I got on here and we were kind of talking about it, and I was like, this Prima's, kind of got some hippy dippy to her because she's standing there hanging off, or not hanging off, but she's leaning on the bow of the or the side of the ship, and she's like, "Oh, the sun feels like a friend." And Tracy's kind of like, "Okay, well, that's a new one." And um, Misty's going on, and sh we don't usually see this side of Misty, like the fangirl aspect. I mean, to be fair, the only character that we really see kind of lose control
It's Brock.
is Brock, and like you said, thank God Brock isn't in this episode. Um,
Brock would have lost
because
his damn mind.
he'd jump off the boat, I think. And Misty's trying to carry on and trying to get in close with Prima, and Prima's just like, hear the ocean, you
Okay,
know.
I'm just gonna throw this out here, and people can call me a perv or whatnot. I don't really care, but why are all the band episodes like very sexualized? Because I feel like because she's no joke. My screen is paused now at 5:44 on this, and she's leaning over a railing, and they never emphasize boobs like this, but they're emphasizing her squeezing her boobs, and they're just pressed right up against her. It's just very sexualized for a kid's cartoon. And I mean, I'm sure I was good happy to watch it back then, but I mean, but as a child, but I'm watching this back as an adult right now, and I'm like, they really sexualized this episode, and it's almost every band episode that we've done, bro. There's something sexualized. We've had Jesse sexualized. We've had James sexualized. We now have Prima now sexualized. We had Misty sexualized. Like we had Ash's mother in one episode sexualized. Like, when does it stop? It's every band episode.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously the bikini contest, that kind of sticks out.
But I think the only one that we haven't had anything sexual in it was the one where Ash catches all his toros.
Well, but that one he almost died.
Yeah, he had a gun pointed at his head. So
Freaking boomstick.
it's a water gun. It's not a real
Yeah.
gun. But all right, but as you were saying, bro, you can go ahead and continue. I just wanted to get that PSA out there because it's
So
just dumbfounding.
so it's at this point that Ash is like, well, if you're such a hotshot trainer, why don't we battle now? And
He was so
and
gung
Prima's
ho
just
on battling this whole episode.
and Prima's just she's off in her own world, and Ash is like, well, how about we battle? I want to battle. I want to, and
Oh, you
um,
you don't want to battle me because you think that you're gonna lose.
so he literally walks down a flight of stairs and finds some random dude and opens his jacket. Is like, I got two badges. I'm a bad motherfucker. Let's go. Are you a Pokemon trainer? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm a Pokemon trainer. I don't even have a name, so I'm gonna get my ass kicked. And
That's how you interpret this. That's what you
that's
saw his mouth say.
that's exactly what he said. I don't know what you're talking about.
Subtitles and all.
Yeah, that was even in the Japanese stuff. Um, And Misty's like, "Well, I guess I'll go watch this. I ain't got nothing else going on. I'm not getting anything from Prima." And Trace is about to head down, and he leans down and kind of goes eye level with Pikachu and Bulbasaur. He's like, "Are y'all coming or not?" And they're like, dude, we're still kind of
We're
chilling here
eating.
eating." And Tracy's like,
All right,
"Ah,
bet.
my bad."
So they run down, and Ash is like, all right, let's decide the battle rules. And the other guy's like, all right, let's just use 2 Pokemon. So Ash sends out his Squirtle first.
Okay, Squirtle, I choose you!
Persian, go! Ash, that Persian has its tail out straight. That means it's been in lots of battles.
That doesn't scare me.
Pshaw, experience. Where's that gotten anybody?
He's like, and the other trainer is just as cocky as Ash, and he's like, man, this battle will be, you picked a Squirtle, this battle will be over in just a few. And Ash is like, yeah, I agree, this battle will be over real quick. And Ash is like, Squirtle, use your water gun. And Persian jumps away real fast, and the trainer's like, Persian, Thunderbolt. And Persian goes up and uses Thunderbolt and shocks the mess out of Squirtle. And Squirtle goes in and withdraws into his shell. And they're like, oh man, that Persian can use electric attacks. And Squirtle jumps back out of his shell. And this is when Prima is watching the battle from afar, and she's just examining the way that Ash is using his Squirtle. And Ash is like, Squirtle, go and headbutt. And Squirtle goes in, headbutts Persian right in his belly, and knocks it right out. And this trainer's like, oh, damn, pretty good, kid. But you know what? I'm gonna throw out my Tauros next. And Ash is like, you know what? I know a lot about those because I got like 20 of them. But they're only on level 5 and they only know tackle.
Because I don't use them.
For real. But the other trainer's like, you know what? Mine knows tackle too. Tauros tackle. And it just goes in and tackles Squirtle, knocks Squirtle out. Ash is like, return, Squirtle. And
he's like, I know what'll end this.
Yeah, Tracy's like, you know what? You better be careful because that Tauros is pretty strong. And Ash is like, you know what? I know the perfect Pokemon. Charizard, let's go. And Charizard's like, yeah. Missy's like, what are you doing bringing out Charizard? You can't control him yet. And Ash is like, you know what? I think this is gonna be the battle where me and Charizard finally mesh together, and he's gonna listen to me. And Misty's like, okay. And he looks up at Charizard, and he's like, all right, Charizard, are you ready? Charizard gives him a flamethrower to the face, and Ash is like, oh shit.
And Misty goes, talk about being Ash now.
That was a good line. And the trainer's like, man, you can't even control your Charizard. And Ash is like, come on, Charizard, flamethrower attack. And Charizard's like, yeah, I'm not listening to you. And Ash is like, come on, Charizard. And then we see Prima examining this battle from afar. And she's like, huh, this Charizard's not listening. And this cocky trainer is like, you know what? I think I just won this battle. You can't even control your own Charizard. All right, Tauros, let's go and use takedown. And Tauros goes running in and hits Charizard square in the belly. And Charizard's like, the hell are you doing? And he does Fire Blast right on top of Tauros and fries Tauros. And the trainer's like, oh man, I actually lost.
Oh no! He beat me!
You did it! You did it, George! Hey, come back here!
Nice work. Never send a Pokemon into battle if you don't know how to handle it. This is bad! Charizard's just getting warmed up! This is dangerous, Ash!
That thing's out of control! Charizard, return now!
And Charizard comes sweeping in from the other direction. He's ha, and they're like, "Oh my God, Charizard's out of control! It's freaking Godzilla!" And he buzzes Tracy and Misty's tower, and Tracy's pissed. He's like, "Get your Pokemon under control! What are you doing? He could have killed us." And Ash is sitting there. He's like, "Return, return!" And Charizard's just ducking and weaving the
Which was
fucking return ray.
funny as hell. He's like, return, just pew, 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 and Charles was like, ha, can't catch me.
and he gets him again. So Ash has been second degree burned twice, and this is when Prima just shows up on the scene, and she has a Slowbro, and Charizard kind of flies, and he's like, "Oh, you're a Slowbro," and he tells, or rather, Prima tells Slowbro to use Confusion.
Yeah.
And see, I got it.
Oh,
And
no, not confusion. Disable.
a 50-50 shot.
Yes.
And obviously Charizard's froze, and Prima's like, now bring him down. And Tracy's like, this is masterclass. And Prima's like, you should probably return him. And Ash returns Charizard, and Prima returns her Slowbro, and Ash is kind of sitting there, and he's like, I really thought I had, a connection with Charizard here. I really, I don't understand.
You want to
I don't.
you want to know something that kind of confuses me, and I know it's a kid's show, but I'm just gonna ask it to just fuck with your brain for a second. How
Sure. What?
so Charizard doesn't listen to Ash. He also doesn't like Ash, right?
Right.
Why doesn't Charizard just bust out of the damn Pokeball and just fly away?
Because we just saw he can clearly avoid being returned if he wants to.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the stop? I mean, Psyduck can get out of his Pokeball very easily. He found the little button on the inside that goes release.
Oh,
How come Charizard can't do
maybe he likes to fuck with Ash.
that? I secretly like him, but I secretly like fucking with him.
Yeah, like he doesn't respect him, but he wants him to know that he doesn't respect him.
Gotcha.
And in a way, if Charizard just flew away, what's to stop Ash from just catching a Charmeleon that would actually, or not? Well, he fucking caught a Pidgey. He caught a Pidgeotto. He could catch a Charmeleon. What's to stop him from catching a Charmander and just spam training him until he gets a Charizard that respects him?
Yeah, you're not wrong. And then that would piss off this Charizard, and they would go head to head in battle, and then they
And that would be badass.
yeah, it would. By the way, we have an episode coming up in Black and White at some point, where Ash actually retells the story of how he got Charmander up to a Charmeleon, up to a Charizard that didn't respect him, and got him to respect him. So we do have an episode coming up soon.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well,
what's up?
no. Now I'm curious because as a viewer, we saw the story.
Yes.
He saved Charmander's life, and then Charmeleon evolved and was a moody teenager, and only listened when it benefited him, and he only evolved because he wasn't on even footing with that Aerodactyl.
Yep.
So I mean, we saw the story. So like, what?
They literally all they did was put updated graphics, colored in the scenes a little bit more and made it more bright. As Ash was sitting at the table talking to Iris and Silent.
Gotcha.
So it it,
Well,
it
I mean,
it it wasn't that long of a scene. I believe that part of the scene was only like 4 or 5 minutes because he kind of rushed through the story, but it was basically him just telling that story again.
well, I am excited to. I'm excited to hear that. I mean, just to see how they get 20 minutes out of it.
Yeah, I could shoot.
Because
I'm pretty sure I could find that part of the episode and I could shoot it over to you as like one of those like YouTube shorts. I'll do that for you because I'm sure you'd
oh
like you'd like to see it. It's pretty cool.
yeah, maybe I don't want to wait 5 years till we actually get to it.
So okay,
But so yeah, Ash is standing there and he's like, I've won a bunch of battles. I've got a bunch of badges. I just don't understand why he doesn't respect me. And freaking um Prima's sitting there and she's like, well, it's about more than winning battles. It's about, being on the same plane and
playing field.
respect and playing field and all this. She's like, you know, the offer, still stands for y'all to come and watch my demonstration and, you know, maybe pick something up here or there. And, Misty, of course, is over the moon because ever since Prima walked into the shot, that's all she could focus on. And Tracy's just looking for an excuse to get some sketches,
Yep.
work the pencil, so to speak. Um, so we cut to what looks to be a packed stadium, and Prima's standing at one side of the battlefield, and she's facing off against a trainer. And once again, we do another flow pan up Prima's entire body, making sure to pause just long enough on the boobs.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head talking about over sexualized.
I mean, I'm just saying, like she is really out there. Like they don't even do that for any other character on this show for other episodes. Like they're like we're gonna get banned at some point, so we go ahead and throw some boobs on
Like fuck it, it's Friday.
her.
Um so we cut into the crowd and we see that Team Rocket's working the concession, and James is sitting there like, I have seen this woman. And Meowth is sitting there and got his little hat, um and then we cut back to the battle and we see like a smash cut of Slow Bro going past him a champ. And
A Marowak.
uh we we see a Dugong and a Marowak, and we see an Alakazam and a Cloyster. uh Cloyster, of course, somebody we're going to see here in a couple minutes. Poor Alakazam gets frozen into a block of ice. And this is when we cut to Tracy and Misty and Ash, and Tracy has his sketch pad. And
Awesome! That's 3 straight wins for Prima.
Prima's totally cool! Wow. She's really good.
then we get the Who's That Pokemon, and you might think,
It's Machop.
you might think it was Slowbro or or maybe a Tauros, or um, you know, maybe
Any
Charizard.
any of the main Pokemon that are in this episode.
No, no, just a little. And I mean, I hate to say it, but a little piddly Machop, rather,
Yeah.
apropos of nothing.
Yeah, not even a Machamp. Machop.
Yeah, not even a Machamp who was at least in the episode for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
No, but and then we cut back from the Who's That Pokemon, and we see that once again, our heroes have like
A-
a private audience with
Actually,
Prima.
actually, you right before you jump into that, just to fuck with your head again. You want to know because I was curious, so I just looked at it right now. You want to know who the Who's That Pokemon in the Japanese episode was?
Who was it?
Cloyster.
Of course it was, because that makes sense. Of course it was close. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, we're back. We're
The
back. We're back in the original series, man. It's gonna happen week after week. Just random Pokemon.
I'm telling you, the American production of these episodes is slipping. And so like I say, once again, our heroes have a private audience with Prima, apropos of nothing. Just like they didn't win a contest, they didn't get their number drawn at random. She's just hanging out, drinking tea with him. And Tracy's, oh, you're so great, this, that, and the other. And
You're so purty.
Misty's beaming, and
I want to
Ash
be
is just
just like
sitting there.
you when I grow up.
Yeah, you know, sh she's talking about her methodology and everything, and we hadn't really heard pardon me. We haven't really heard from Ash. We just kind of see him sitting there, kind of staring off into space, holding Pikachu, and all of a sudden he just pops up and he's like, "I got it." And Missy's like, "Got what?" And he's like, "I understand how Prima is um
Good.
so good, like what her whole gimmick is." And he's like, "Haha, this whole time, um, from the moment she walked up to us at the table to sitting here right now in her little sitting room, she's been using perverse psychology on me." And he's so proud of himself, right? He's beaming, and Misty just looks at him and goes, "Sometimes you're smarter when you don't talk."
Facts.
And um she's like, talking about, "Oh, it's no tricks. It's just, something I've picked up, in my years as a trainer." And
And Ash is
you
just
know,
fuming, and he just wants a battle. And he's like, "Why won't you have a battle with me? I just want to have a battle with you." And she
and
she
she finally just
turns around and is just like, "Fine, I will have a battle with you." And um, freaking Misty is like, it seems like she used reverse ice psychology on him, which was the line.
and yeah, I mean, Misty, when she's not going gaga over Prima, which she's been doing for, I would say, 90% of this episode, she's gotten a few good zingers in. She had that line earlier about Ash's brain going on vacation and stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously the "you're smarter when you keep your mouth shut." And so yeah, they're just kind of standing there, kind of absorbing the day, or however Prima put it. And that's when Ash just screams out, he's like, "Have a battle with me. You're a trainer. I'm a trainer. I need to battle something. I'm on a heater. I've been winning some battles. I'm like the man of the island." And she's like, "Fine." And she walks down, and Ash is like, "Seriously, that's all it took?" And
And she's like, yeah.
then, we cut to the battlefield.
We'll battle with just one Pokemon each.
Fine!
It wouldn't be fair to go easy on you.
Don't worry. I studied your style, and I think I know exactly how I'm gonna beat ya. I choose Pikachu! Pikachu!
Then I'll choose...
Cloyster? I knew she'd use a water type. Are you ready, Pikachu? Pika!
Better be careful, Ash. Prima knows what she's doing.
And so do I!
Freema looks at Ash and she's like, "Hell, I'll give you the first shot." And Ash says, "Ha, stupid lady."
And he's like,
And
just watch what I got in store.
and Pikachu winds up a Thunderbolt, and Cloyster uses Withdraw, and Cloyster takes every bit of that and doesn't take a scratch of damage.
Nope.
And we find out that Cloyster has a super high defense stat,
When it
and
uses
that it's
withdraw.
yes, and when it uses Withdraw, it's practically impenetrable. And Ash is like, "No shit." And he's like, "All right, Pikachu, tackle." And um Prima count, or that's not tackle, that's quick attack. And Prima counters that with reflect, and Pikachu just bounces off of a imaginary wall.
Yep.
And for a second, and I mean you'd have to pause it to catch it, Pikachu has the X-Eyes. Like, Pikachu's out.
Yeah. But Pikachu is like, I'm not losing this battle like this.
I'm not losing a battle to a reflect. And um Ash is like, "Watch this now." And Pikachu goes in with a thunder shock, and he's like, "Give it all you got." And then we see that Cloyster actually took some decent bit of damage, but then all of a sudden Cloyster starts glowing red. And Ash is like, "What in the world's going on? Cloyster's already evolved." He didn't say that. I thought that. And Tracy's like, "It's using rage." And when a Pokemon's getting ready to use rage, get the fuck out of the way. And Ash is like, "Oh, that doesn't matter. We got this." And he sends Pikachu into it.
Yes. Go ahead, butt.
He sends Pikachu into it. He is not a good trainer. And I mean, to Pikachu's credit, it dodges an initial beam, right? But, Cloyster was queued up and ready, and caught him and then hit him with a tackle, and I mean that was it. And Prima walks over and she's like, kind of, "I hope you're satisfied, but I hope you learn from this." And she kind of takes Pikachu from Ash's arms, and she's like, "Think about this, because Ash has the same line he said earlier about, I'm a good trainer and I've won a lot of battles." And she's like, "Well, but if you take a step back and think about it, doesn't a lot of that come down to your Pokemon winning battles for you?" And she's like,
she she
"Why do
she
your Pokemon?"
she basically tells him that the badges that he has are the trophies that your Pokemon are giving you to show you to show you their hard work. Which
And
which
she's
is a
like, "Why
good
do
way
you
to put
think?"
it.
it's a great way to put it. She's like, "Why do you think your Pokemon fight for you?" And um,
Don't say that.
I didn't. I thought it. I mean, I said it here, so I mean, but it's just between you, me, and all the listeners, so it's fine. Um, and Ash has a flash of like Squirtle and Bulbasaur and Pikachu. And he's like, they fight for me because
They love
you know they're
me.
m- they love me. They're my friends. And Prima hands Pikachu back, and Pikachu's got a nice smile on his face. And
And
Prima's like, you just need to learn to listen
your
to
Pokemon.
yourself and to your Pokemon and to the world around you. And you've got a lot of potential. And I wouldn't have spent this entire day with you if I didn't see something in you.
And then what is
And
a Pokemon episode without the ending with Team Rocket?
well, this fucked with me, right? Because like Prima was given this speech. And um Misty and Tracy walk up behind Ash, and the music was playing, and I was like, are we getting ready to rap? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, already, right?
And you know, and like you said, it's like 3 minutes left in the episode. Here comes Team Rocket.
Bravo!
Very inspiring.
So sorry to interrupt the pep rally.
We'd love to hear the rest of your lecture.
Is it available on CD?
Tape only.
1895.
Prepare for trouble and defeat.
Make it double for Miss Elite.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse,
James.
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light.
So surrender now or prepare to fight, right?
Meow, that's right.
What are you guys doing here?
They were like, well, we've been watching you this entire episode, and we know that we would get our asses handed to us if we tried to come for you, talking about Prima. But we know that Pikachu's pooped, so I think we'll just take him. And they literally just ask Ash to hand him over.
Yeah.
Like, how lazy, like, you want to talk about being tapped on. And I think Prima's a little pissed off, and she's like, I'll show you how I'm going to handle this. And this is how the episode gets banned, because she's like, I've got a jinx.
I'm gonna ban this episode.
Why do you think I've been running around on this top all day? Because I knew this wasn't going to make air. And, Team Rocket kind of swoons over the jinx, and they're like,
Ooh.
that's super rare. We could take her back, or take it back, or whatever. Friggin' Jinx uses Ice Punch, freezes them, and they're like, I'm frozen, I can barely move my mouth. And then, what does Jinx use? Blizzard?
Ice Beam, I believe.
Ice Beam.
Yes.
Ice Beam. Sends them blasting off, and that's when, Prima kind of looks up, and she's like, the ice. It's beautiful. And, I mean, knowing what I know now about her day job, quote unquote, or whatever, being part of the
Elite Four.
Elite Four, I was like, I get that reference. And then, we get the standard end of Pokemon episode, with Ash and the gang saying goodbye to a new friend. And Ash is talking about how, I'm going to be a better trainer, and I'm going to learn to listen to my Pokemon. And Misty's like, I'm going to grow up to be big and strong just like you. And Tracy's like, I'm going to learn how to appreciate the small things and take time to smell the roses. And Ash kind of turns to Pikachu, and Pikachu's,
I'm gonna learn how to draw pretty women better.
yeah, I'm gonna take lessons from Brock. And Ash is like, you ready to head out, Pikachu? And Pikachu's like, you're the one walking. And we get a nice shot of the sunset, and we get the to be continued. And
That is it.
I think that's gonna bring this free balling episode to a close.
Wasn't a bad way to do this episode.
I liked it.
You like this new style. Maybe we can
I liked it.
maybe we can talk off air, and maybe this is how we can do episodes from now
Somehow I don't believe you. I think
on.
knowing you the way I know you, I think you enjoy the structure, but I enjoyed this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk off air. There's nothing wrong with it. I did enjoy this episode.
Because I feel like doing it the way we did it, like yes, we talked about the episode and yes, the episode was happening, but I feel like it also left left it open for like
Discussion.
conversation bouncing off between us.
Yeah, and I liked it. I liked that a
Like
lot.
we didn't have to be like as boxed in. Now, I mean, I'll say this out loud and you know have it on the recording. I'm not confident enough to do a movie like this,
No. No, 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 no. We're not doing that.
but I'm more than confident in our abilities to do a 20-minute episode like this once in a while.
Okay. Bet. Let's
I mean, for goodness sakes, what are Poke Breaks if not this?
Yeah, for real. So if you guys like this, leave a comment or leave comments on our iTunes page or Google page or anywhere, because I mean we see them and we read them. So it's nice to actually see comments from all of our fans. So if you like the new structure as of the 2024 structure, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Reach out because we're nothing if not receptive to feedback.
Yeah. So, I mean, hell, we wouldn't be back here doing the Kanto Orange Island episodes right now if we didn't listen to you. So, yeah.
Very true.
So, but outside of that, bro, I say we call it a day. You got anything else to
Well,
add to this episode?
what would you rate this episode?
Oh shit! I'm see we don't do an episode for a few weeks and I forget shit. I give this episode a solid 3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Because there was a lot of action and we got to see a lot of different types of Pokemon in this episode.
And we got a lot of like inside baseball about like battle strategy and what it takes to be like in harmony with your Pokemon. And
Yep,
Misty got to be a little less
Misty.
misty this episode. And I mean, the only thing I would maybe knock it a little bit was Team Rocket literally felt forced.
They did.
Like I feel like they were supposed to maybe interrupt the initial battle or maybe even the demonstration, but they kind of slipped through the cracks and they were getting ready to put the finishing touches on the episode and they're like, "Oh crap, we didn't wrap up the Team Rocket issue."
So I'm glad they figured out all of that. So I mean they did a good job this episode. I like it.
Yes.
So all right, bro. Well, if that's all, go ahead and give your goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Professor Chris G telling all of you out there we will be back next week with another Orange Islands episode. So we hope you enjoy this one and we hope you have a good night. Have a good night, everybody.